What's good, world? My name is AWAR, spelled A-W-A-R. My main inspiration for all this shit really is the music, number one. I mean, I've been writing since I was a teenager. Been recording since I was a teenager. I've been in this shit for a long time. I've been in battles at the wetlands before the wetlands closed. Up in Albany, I was rocking shows at the Hudson Duster before it closed. I've done shows all over the country, and at the end of the day, for me, what keeps me passionate about this shit is really the music. I love making music. I love writing lyrics. I love hip-hop. I grew up on this shit, and now I get to be a part of the culture, and it's just an honor to be participating in the culture and to get to express myself in this way. I had a friend of mine, like the town I grew up in was outside of Albany, so it was not really influenced by hip-hop at all when I was a kid. Now, you go to any school in America and you're probably influenced by hip-hop. But hip-hop was just becoming the kind of thing that people were listening to, and I had a friend of mine kind of put me onto some shit, and it was a friend of mine who I met through, he was the son of my mom's friend, who was actually a minister, and he was on that hip-hop shit. He was actually the first person who ever got me high and shit, like smoked weed with me and shit. And he really put me onto hip-hop, so, and I actually haven't talked to him since I was like 17 or so. And his name is Ben Phelps. And I never met him again, but I just wanted to let him know that, you know, 15 years later, maybe not 15 years later, yeah, about 15 years later, I'm doing this shit. And he was actually the person who put me on, and he wouldn't ever know that. You know what I'm saying? Unless he actually like goes online and figured out what my stage name is and all that shit, he would never know that shit. But it's actually, you know, people who influence you, and they might not ever find out that they influence you, but that actually, you know, took me on the direction that I went with hip-hop. So that's kind of crazy to me. I mean, most recently, like, I've really been I've been putting together this album for a while. You know, I put out an EP last year called Things of That Nature, and then I put out another tape called Nature of the Beast, and my album is called The Laws of Nature, and I've been working on it for a couple years now, and really built a good relationship with a lot of the artists that I worked with, but in particular Knots Raw and his manager D Sloan. And you know, I think with this project we're collaborating as far as marketing and putting it out and all that, and just to be able to work with somebody like Knots Raw, who produced for Busta Rhymes and Kanye West and fucking pretty much everybody in the game. If you go Google Knots Raw, I mean, just to be able to put my music out through an outlet like that is really inspiring to me. Being able to rock shows with legends that invented this shit. It's hard to stand out. It's oversaturated in music. I mean, the landscape of hip-hop has changed. When I was coming up, a lot of this shit was word of mouth. Like, you heard somebody was nice from another hood or whatever, you could, you know, you'd find out who they were, find out where they were, you know, they might be on a corner rapping somewhere or whatever. You call up a number and you go over there and you battle motherfuckers, or you go spit with them. Like, it was really grassroots and word of mouth when I was young. Nowadays, it seems like everything's on the internet, and because of that, I think that it's much harder to stand out. I mean, it takes going the extra mile. Like, you really got to raise the bar as far as visuals go. You have to think outside the box. You have to be more creative than the next person, and you have to be, most importantly, true to yourself. And, you know, even then it's hard to stand out. So this music shit is a grind. I'll never say that it's, you know, it's something easy to make a career path. It's a constant struggle, but if you really love what you do and you're being yourself with your content and your writing and your production and your sound quality and all that shit, you know, keep doing what you do and eventually you're gonna make it. I just want people to remember that, you know, I was about making the best music I possibly could make with the resources that I have, that I was very passionate about what I do. I write my lyrics from the heart. I want people on a personal level to remember me, you know, as a good person, as somebody who could pass some wisdom on. My next project dropping is coming out on August 7th, 2012. It's called AWAR, The Laws of Nature. It's my album. It features production from Alchemist, Knots Raw, Jake One, Sid Rome's, Seb, M Phases, and most importantly Vanderslice, because Vanderslice has been there with me every session, kind of giving his critique, whether he's hating on me hard or he's not, you know, because that's who Vanderslice is, if you know him. As far as features go on the album, I got Raekwon, the chef, I got Evidence from Dilated Peoples and Solo, Murs, Latoya Williams, who was on like Jay-Z's Blueprint and a bunch of other shit, Antonio McClendon, my man Haslo is on there. I got joints with Rock Marciano and Graph. I got a bunch of shit coming, so, you know, stay tuned. I just want to give a shout out to, you know, everybody who's been supporting my music since day one and is just finding out about my music now. I want to give a shout out to all the most important people in my life. My girl Natalia, Vanderslice, Scott Stallone, my engineer, Big Bass, D Sloan, Knots Raw, Sid Rome's, all the people that, you know, helped me put together this crazy, crazy album that I'm about to show the world. So stay tuned. AWARstories.com, bshine.com. You already know.